Visit your local Kubota dealer, Kubota of Chattanooga, 2628 Rossville Boulevard in Chattanooga.
If you are dealing with chronic neck or back pain, you would probably say that you'd do anything to make that pain go away. Our next guest would love for you to let him help you do that. Dr. Doug Stithem has Disc Centers of America, Chattanooga, and he joins us this morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
It's true. I mean, when you've got that chronic kind of pain, you think if I can just make it through this day, I'll be doing good.
It is a day-by-day thing, and it's you're very right.
Well, chronic, okay, first of all, before we get into the particulars of what you do at Disc Centers of America, there is a difference in acute pain, which is a problem, but chronic pain becomes about more than just the pain, right, Doug? Because it affects the cortisol in your brain and everything about your mood, all of it.
That's one of the things my team loves the most about patients will come in and they can be, I hate to use the word crabby, but they're just not themselves. They're a little irritable, their fuse is kind of short, and it's fun to watch them heal over time. They start to smile more, laugh more, start engaging with my team, and they just love to watch people transform into their normal self.
So at Disc Centers of America, I mentioned neck and back pain.
Yeah.
They're connected, quite literally.
They are. There's two regions of the spine that are more freely movable. The thoracic spine is like a cage. It's harder to decompress, and we don't really have the technology for that. But because it's protected and it works as a group, there's less injuries there. So it's mostly neck and lower back that we see disc problems. And we our technology, the DRX 9000, focuses on any disc in the cervical spine and the lower back.
Let's talk about that technology. You've invested in that. You believe in it. So what is the DRX
9000?
DRX, like a Harry Potter saying. Yeah, what is it?
So basically it's an innovative table. There's a lot of decompression tables on the market. The two leading ones have a fixed tower. So if you see our technology in our office, there's a tower that's really high. It's over 6 foot tall.
I've seen it.
Because it allows you to augment the angle of the pull. So we have to lay the patient down in a supine or face-up position, and we prop their knees up. We get them in a position where the body is relaxed. That's the key component. And people will see that we have on this tower, since it's there, we have a screen where we can put like a beach or just some pretty scenery. And we want to be able to distract those bones, which doesn't hurt, but they will feel it, especially if they have a hot disc. It's going to be an area that they're trying to protect. So the more relaxed we can get that patient, the better they're going to do, because you want to distract it without any muscular contraction. Does that make sense?
Yes, but explain why.
Well, so I brought some visual aids here.
Okay.
And this is the anatomy of the disc. And in order to fully understand how our technology works, it's good to understand how your body works. And so these discs that sit in between, this is what a bulge looks like.
The red?
The red. And so these cartilage rings, kind of like tree rings, they look in a manner like they crisscross as far as the way their pattern goes for stability and strength. But when they tear, that jelly can come out. Now, what people don't realize is that these discs are actually adhered to the bone above and below. So it's like it creates suction.
Okay.
So like when you pull back when you pull back a syringe, it creates a vacuum, right?
Right.
So that vacuum is that principle of negative pressure is how decompression works. When we pull these bones apart, it's just like pulling that syringe back.
Okay.
So it pulls that jelly back to the center.
Okay.
And you know, this right here is a herniation where you see the jelly come all the way out, and when it's dancing on that nerve root, that's when we get that component where it radiates into either arm and the hands or down the leg and into the foot.
Okay.
But this is the problem right here. The problem is getting this part back to the center completely so that these cartilage fibers can reattach and heal. They won't heal if they can't touch. So we use that vacuum over time. We're just pulling drops of water, pulling that jelly back into the donut, and then when these can reattach and connect, now we're in business.
So you made a few points that I'm interested in. One is over time, which means each case is going to be its own. Right? There's no way to say how long each individual patient's going to need to come to you.
We have clues. When I do a history and exam, I ask them questions. How severe was the trauma? How long have you been dealing with it? Is it acute or is it chronic? And based off what the patient and I come to, you know, we categorize it and we can kind of have a good idea. Now, is it written in stone? No.
Okay.
Does everybody's spine read the textbook? No.
Right.
But we play it by ear, and we learn, and we share with other disc centers what's working, what's not working.
Okay, the fact that what you want is to get this all back in where it needs to be because you can't heal if these things aren't touching, then if you're currently taking a medication to mask the pain, that's all you're doing.
That's all you're doing. You're turning off the pain signal, and I don't judge on that. I was turning off the pain signal when I was experiencing it. So if you look at that model, there's two things. You can see a bulge on the top and a herniation on the bottom.
Yeah.
Mine was a herniation, and I had a microdiscectomy where they removed this portion right here.
Yeah, I was going to take you there, so I'm glad you went ahead and jumped over. One of the reasons you're so passionate about what you do is you've been the patient.
I've been the patient. I know exactly. I think the Lord was teaching me how to be empathetic with my patients, and now I understand. So when I tell them I understand, I do. When I tell them I've fixed the bottom 3 discs in my spine, I'm like, I know what this table can do. I know what the technology can do.
What if you're a person who you had a back injury a long time ago and you have been dealing with it for 5 or 6 years? Can that still be treated?
Absolutely, and not everybody connects those dots. That's why I do a thorough history, because I tell them, I'm like, hey, have you been in a car accident? And they're like, no. I'm like, never? We're talking to someone who's like 65. I'm like, you've never been rear-ended or rear-ended somebody? Well, yeah. But I walked away, there's no problem. So I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. And they'll go down memory lane and they'll be like, yeah, oh, you know what? When I was 16, I did get in a car accident and the car rolled down a hill. I'm like,
right.
Whoa, what?
Right.
The brain blocks those things out.
Okay, if people want to come to you, by the way, you brought 2 visuals. What's this one?
This was just more of a visual, like it just shows you when you have set up the bulge, all it takes is for you to sneeze wrong or lift something and turn wrong incorrectly, and then boom, that's what it looks like.
Oh.
So when it comes out, so they'll call this on an MRI, they'll call that a stenosis, a neuroforaminal stenosis. It just means it's that hole is getting smaller.
So that's why you'll hear people say, all I did was bend down to put something in the freezer and my back went out.
Went to pick up my little baby girl.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 20 pounds. That's it.
Let us show you how you can get in touch with him at Disc Centers of America. It's ChattanoogaDiscCenter.com. Call him 580-4280. Let your takeaway be that A, he'd love to help you, and B, he's been where you are. Thank you.
100%.
What does searching for a Medicare plan feel like?